Hi everybody, this is Lara at pureelliottwave.com. I'm going to update my analysis for Binance. I'm going to do a less formal video this time. I'm going to go through the thinking process of how I update my Elliott wave count. I've already done my technical analysis charts. If you just want a summary and the basic technical analysis, I'll put chapters on this video on YouTube and you can jump through to the end. So I've updated my data for Binance, and this was my wave count previously, and I'm thinking this is probably wrong. I'm thinking intermediate 4 might be continuing. Let's take a look at the weekly chart and look at the proportions. Yeah, this is why I think intermediate 4 should be continuing. Let's bring this over here. I think it might be continuing as maybe a triangle or a flat correction or a combination. Let's label it as a triangle. Could it possibly be a barrier triangle? The BD trend line looks essentially flat. Oh, that's nice. There's a nice test of the lower AC trend line. Let's go and check that out at the daily chart level. Okay. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to put some labels in here for a triangle for intermediate 4. I'm going to put A down here, and then that means E should be up here. Wave E most commonly falls short of the AC trend line. I want to put some trend lines in there. That AC trend line looks pretty good. It's overshot here and here, here and here. That's okay. It's triangle trend lines for Elliott wave are usually tested within them. Let's just calculate the length of B in relation to A. Oh yeah, it's only 64%. What scale have I got this on? Yeah, it's an arithmetic scale, not a semi-log, so that looks right. Okay, let's bring this invalidation point along here. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Now let's have a look at how this wave is, how these waves are subdividing. Then C is going to have a nice 5-wave look to it. And is 3 going to subdivide well? Yeah, it does. That's a long C in relation to A, but that fits really well. I'm just going to expand this out so I can see this better. A, B, and a long C. A and C do have a tendency to equality, but they don't have to be equal in length. This should be here. I'm just going to, giving it a cursory look, trying to see this as an impulse. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, yeah, that would work. It would fit either as a zigzag or an impulse, so we'd have to consider both scenarios. It looks like minor B here might be a double zigzag, because this first wave up here looks very much like a zigzag, doesn't it? X looks like a zigzag. I don't know, 8, that's a bit problematic. Oh, okay. What if B is a running triangle? Oh, that looks terrible. Oh no, that's terrible. Is this valid anyway? The high for C is 37874,136, and E, no, E can't move beyond the end of C, so that's invalid. If I put A down here, it looks like a 3, so sadly I think the most likely structure for X here is a double zigzag. It's possible, it's just not as common as a single zigzag. I say it's possible because within a multiple there is a rule. The maximum number of corrective structures within a multiple is 3. That count of 3 applies to W, Y, and if there is one, Z. And so X waves can be any corrective structure, including a multiple, and if they are a multiple, that maximum number of 3 is not increased. But you can't label W, Y, or Z as multiples, because that multiplies the maximum number of corrective structures beyond 3 and violates the Elliott wave rule. That is the most commonly misunderstood Elliott wave rule, misunderstood and broken Elliott wave rule. So if you ever come across Elliott wave work that labels itself W, Y and Z with within W, Y and Z, W, X, Y, X, Z, move on. It's of no use whatsoever. That doesn't work, does it? And here, it doesn't move beyond the end of 1. What is this? So what if A ended here and B is an expanded flat? That actually looks okay, except now C's a bit of a problem. What if B was over here? Is it 90% the length of A though? I'm just considering B as a triangle. Let's calculate the length of subminuet B to A. No, it's less than 90%, so that can't be valid. Is C an ending diagonal? Oh yeah, that fits. Ending expanding diagonal, but the trend lines, no, the trend lines have to diverge. Okay, the wavelengths, 3 is longer than 1, 5 is longer than 3, 4 is longer than 2 just, but the trend lines converge. The wavelengths say the diagonal is expanding, but the trend lines say the diagonal is contracting. That's a rule. Expanding diagonals must have trend lines that diverge. This one doesn't, so that's invalid. I wonder if down in here there could be quick shallow fourth waves, which I can't see because I don't have hourly chart data. I'm going to leave it unlabeled because I know from experience with commodities and cryptocurrencies their fourth waves can be brief and shallow in comparison to their second waves, and it can give their impulses a curved three-wave look. I'm so used to that with gold, analysing that right down to the 5-minute chart level now for years, so I have no problem with that, how that looks. And I know other people will, and that's okay. We don't have to agree. Our wave counts can be different. And you don't have to come into my comments and argue about it either. That's not going to stop people. Okay. That's okay. I have a comments policy. Might be a good idea to read it before you make a comment. It's about tone, really, more than anything else. No, I'm going to put that down here. This looks good. YouTube comments can be such a gutter of the internet, can't it? And I'm determined that this channel will not tolerate any of that, because I just don't want to go there. Oh, that doesn't look very good for 1. Is 2 an expanded flat, maybe? C an ending diagonal. I'm just going to expand this out so I can check these wavelengths. Yeah, 5. Oh no, because no, you can't have a fifth wave in an ending diagonal that's truncated. So it can't have ended there. 5 must end beyond. So this has to be like this. And what if this? No, now we're going to have an overlap, aren't we? Nope. I think I'm going to have one down here, and no, I don't want to put that there. I want to put that there. And this has to be here. Okay, I'm going to label this an expanded flat. Oh, hang on. Okay, is B 90% the length of A? No, it's only 87%. Darn it. Oh, I know. Okay, fine. I think maybe this is a combination. expanded flat for W, brief shallow X, and a little zigzag for Y. Yep, let's leave that. That's okay. Minuet 4 as a triangle looks really good. Okay, so minus C is probably complete. D, oh, I don't think that's complete. I can see a 5 up for A here. That's here, and then yeah, it's not too bad. But then C, that's a huge bearish engulfing candlestick pattern though. It looks like D's over. Okay, so within a triangle, 4 of the 5 subwaves must be zigzags or multiple zigzags. Only one of the subwaves can be a multiple. So if B subdivides and looks best as a double zigzag, that means that all of C, D and E should be single zigzags. So I can't label D as a double zigzag, although I kind of want to. C is not going to fit. Well, no, it could, B could fit as a single zigzag. I could also do this. No, here, and this little pullback here. Nope. Nope, that doesn't work. Great, that doesn't work. Okay, what if A is over here, B is some kind of combination, and then we have yeah, oh actually that looks pretty good. So minuet 2 ending down here is a zigzag, minuet 4 is an expanded flat. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so E should fall short of the AC trend line. Let's get rid of this because it's nearly over. So what I would expect from this wave count for Binance now, this is the conclusion, would be something like this. A little pullback here to result after that big bearish engulfing candlestick pattern to fall short of the AC trend line before an upward breakout. Okay, I'm not going to do an alternate wave count for this relatively minor cryptocurrency. I am going to do some classic technical analysis and spend more time on that. Okay, weekly chart analysis for Binance. It's consolidating. It's been consolidating for months now, since about May. So resistance about 67, actually a little bit lower. Resistance about 518, and support, really strong support about 225. In the middle though, some resistance and support about 355, just a little bit above. So it's moving sideways in this consolidation. Resistance here, support here. Here's an upward swing. What happened on that upward swing? Stochastics barely reached overboard. Almost tried to, didn't quite manage. Downward swing to midway within the consolidation zone, and stochastics is midway. Testing resistance again. Stochastics still not able to reach overboard. I think we'll look at that consolidation with stochastics better at the daily chart level. This here, upward week here, has support from volume now. Overall, not a lot of support from volume for this upward movement. It's very weak compared to previous week's upward volume. So volume really has declined. That's pretty typical during a consolidation. There's a little bit of support now from volume for upward movement. I would suspect an upward breakout from this consolidation may be more likely than downward. That little trick doesn't always work, looking for where is volume the strongest within the consolidation, but it works more often than it fails in my experience. I'd put more weight though on balance volume. This is a highly technically significant resistance line and a highly technically significant support line. On balance volume is constrained. I would expect a breakout now, sooner rather than later. The longer this consolidation goes on, the closer the breakout will be. If it's above resistance, it may precede price and give us the direction for a breakout from price. If it's below support, likewise. If it comes at the same time as price breaks out of its consolidation zone, then on balance volume would add confirmation or confidence to a price breakout. Let's watch that one closely. If you're watching Binance, use on balance volume with these trend lines like I've drawn. Try and draw them really conservatively. RSI neutral territory after reaching extremely overbought and exhibiting clear and strong bearish divergence at that all-time high. So it's unsurprising we're getting some downward movement. RSI is in neutral territory. There's room again for a trend to develop. ADX declining. The DX lines have been whipsawing in recent months. Currently the positive DX line is above the negative. If ADX turns up here, it would indicate an upward trend, but these lines could whipsaw again. So at this stage, no clear trend. Stochastics in neutral territory. Let's take a look at the daily chart. We could have a really strong bullish long lower wick developing. Now this could be a hanging man candlestick. The session is not complete yet. Have a look at it when it is. Calculate the length of the lower wick to the length of the real body of this candlestick. If the lower wick is twice the length of the real body, then that could be a hanging man. But the bullish implication of a long lower wick on a hanging man candlestick pattern means that essentially it requires bearish confirmation in the following session for confidence. So a hanging man coming after an upward trend is basically a two candlestick pattern, because you need that bearish confirmation after it because of this bullish implication. So while we don't have that, I'll read this as bullish, but I'll read the real body, which if it closes red and fully engulfs this prior green body, would complete a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. ADX at this time frame, says that there is no clear trend. After indicating an upward trend, ADX is now declining and the negative DX line has crossed above the positive. No clear trend at either time frame. Stochastics has been overbought for a little while. We could be seeing the end of this upward swing within a larger consolidation, and we could be seeing the beginning of a downward swing here. If we do start to see downward movement following a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, I would look for it to continue until stochastics reaches oversold and price reaches support. So that would be my expectation, and that fits with the Elliott wave count that expects a triangle may be unfolding. There's a very strong upward session here on this day with strong support from volume. Technically not actually a blow off top. It looks a little bit like a blow off top. I should probably delete that little label. But this strong push from volume does suggest that there's support for upward movement in here. But because this is so extreme, I would expect a reaction. Looks like we're getting a reaction down here. That doesn't necessarily need to be long-lived, but that's unsurprising considering this very strong upward day. This is overall bullish and does suggest an upward breakout from this consolidation may be more likely than downward. There seems to be more pressure from buying, more buying pressure than there is selling pressure at this time. On balance volume has no new range. The last signal it gave was bullish. We've been over ADX, RSI neutral territory at this time frame as well. Plenty of room for a trend to continue if there was one to develop. Been over stochastics, ATR declining as price moves higher. indicates some weakness in this upward movement, and that's normal to see for a swing within a consolidation. So bottom line is Binance is consolidating. We need to see a breakout before we can have confidence. It looks like we may see a downward swing to support within the consolidation before an upward breakout. So that fits absolutely perfectly with the Elliott wave analysis that expects essentially this. That's all from me with an update for Binance for you, and I'll be publishing my book and my Learn Pure Elliott Wave video course on the 1st of November. If you want to be notified of a special rate on publication day, you'll get $200 off the course. We've finalised the pricing. And I'll make that offer for the first 48 hours after publication, so there's not as much of a rush. It's better than 24. Go through to pureelliottwave.com, give us your email address, we'll notify you in time for you to take advantage of that special offer. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all the support from subscribers on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate every single one of you.